We're asked a question that perhaps is trying to justify the way people think in the world. They want to justify that we're not really vegan, so they pick some little thing out, like the fleas that are on a cat or a dog, and what we do with it. The intent of being vegan is to do the least amount of harm or not to have it intentional. We drive a car, we'll hit bugs in the air in the summertime. We have situations where we're walking and there could be an ant on the sidewalk and we don't see it. That's not intentionally killing. But a flea is a tormentor. And I'm not sure that God even created fleas to be a tormentor of other animals. But we put a flea drops or flea collars on a cat or a dog to prevent the dog from suffering or the cat from suffering. It's doing the least harm. And yes, fleas will die from that. But that doesn't take away from the intent of the heart to cause the least amount of suffering and death and pain that we possibly can. That's what we want to do. That's what it means to be a vegan. And I doubt very much whether the person that asked this question is trying to do that themselves. So they're trying to justify their cruelty by saying we're not who we say we are. And that's not being honest before God. And, there's times when you'll feel an irritation and you'll hit your hand and it happens to be a mosquito. Well, you may kill it. You may do the same thing with a fly. That's not what God is referring to. When he says you shouldn't kill, murder, that's premeditated. And anybody that eats an animal product, like buying it in the supermarket, that's premeditated murder or murder for hire, because you're hiring somebody else to do the dirty work. To be a vegan is to live in God's ultimate heavenly will where there's no pain or suffering or death. That's the ultimate that we should be all seeking to do. But we live in a corrupt world. And I would put that fleas are part of that corruption. And we may find that we will try to protect another individual, the dog or a cat or whoever, from being tormented by the corruption in this world. Does that make us not seeking God's heavenly will? I don't think it does. It's where your heart is. I'm not going to go around killing other animals that happen to be on our yard. Let them be there. I'm in their territory. That's the way I think about it. That's what we got to start to think in reality and put it into context. Where is our heart's desire? That's what we need to look at. I hope you'll say amen with me.